Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you guys today?
So good.
We're great.
You must be pretty excited. The new season's about to debut.
Yeah, and I think we, honestly, since this morning, we're feeling a buzz. Even in the elevator here, there's a guy who cut the promo, and he seems super excited. I think
Really?
Yeah. No,
Oh, cool.
I think there's definitely something about season 2 that's electrical.
Twice as electrical as the first season.
Well put. Always well put.
Well, you guys have quite the finale to come off of. How do you want to set up what people should expect coming into this new season? Because obviously there's some bad stuff that's been happening, and you guys are coming off of that. How does the team deal?
The fun thing about this season is how do you talk about fighting for world peace when 5 people are having trouble maintaining their solidarity. I have a feeling they're in deep trouble. Alfred's been captured, as you know, and he has a perfect memory, so if he talked, it means everything they could count on before, they can't anymore. And so they're in a high stress, high danger, life or death, and when you think of Tom's character, Dustin's character, Tom. And so I think in this sort of high stakes, high stress situation, they're going to reveal themselves a lot more. So missions are going to be more dangerous, risks are going to be higher, and I think, through that we're going to see a lot more of what their true natures are.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you asked, like, how are they going to actually deal with it, and I think what's great about the show is that whereas in season 1, I think, each episode kind of wrapped up relatively nicely and cleanly to a certain degree, but in season 2, and as was with the finale, and then leading into season 2, like, we immediately hit the ground running, and we don't really deal, I think, as cleanly as we did in season 1. Like, things don't really work out the way we wanted them to, and I think that's just certainly more often than not the case in war. Like, things don't work out the way you want.
Right.
And so that's where I think, as Évelyne was saying, like, the true colors of each team member really is revealed, and where their strengths and their weaknesses really lie, despite who they think they are. In season 2, immediately right off the bat, we're forced, each character individually, to show who they really are. And it's not always something that's, as pretty as we'd like it to be.
There's been certainly divisive moments in the past. Does this season bring people back together more, or is there even worse repercussions, I guess, or is it a mix?
I think all of us carry a fair amount of pain. We've all been through situations that, we've all seen things that we can't unsee. We've all done things we can't undo. Our hands aren't as white anymore as they were when we entered that war. And I think we all deal differently with our demons.
Yeah.
For example, my character wants to show strength for the rest of the team because she's the leader, she's the sergeant. But as she wants to show strength, she keeps a lot of secrets. There's a secret we know from season 1, but then she's going to make an even harder sacrifice at the beginning of season 2, and she's going to keep that a secret too. And by wanting to be strong for the team, she's actually cutting them out, shutting them out of her world, and they're going to start to wonder what's happening with her. So how can you trust a leader if you can't read her anymore? So as we do in real life, sometimes when we think we're strong, we're actually weak. It's when we show all our vulnerabilities that we're actually strong. And there's actually an episode called La vérité vous rendra libre, which means the truth will set you free. And I think for a lot of characters this season, that will be a very meaningful sense.
Yeah, very well put. Except for the French. I feel like you messed up the French.
The other element that's introduced at the start of this episode is the fact that it's leading up to the war.
Yeah.
The big, I shouldn't say the war, but the big attack, basically. What does that look like? How does the show lead up to that kind of big event, and how is the show going to deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's as you put, like, there's a lot of secrets, and actually the team, as would be the case in a real life scenario, the team, the rest of us don't actually know what the mission is, to be honest. And I think there's a lot of secrecy there, and we're not actually totally sure, A, what it is we're going to do, and you know, what our involvement is going to be. Certainly no idea of the larger repercussions of that. And so that, again, just goes back to this idea of trust amongst the five of us, and just that cracking and fracturing as more and more questions come up and are then subsequently unanswered by our leader, who, again, we're seeing in her some cracks in this strong front that she puts forward. We're seeing some cracks, and again, it does sort of divide us in quite varied ways between each of us. But I think what's also important too is that we do know ultimately what our job is in a larger sense, and what we're there in France to do. So it's a strange thing where you're walking towards something that you know this mission, this kind of big question mark of a mission. You're walking towards it knowing that your life is undoubtedly in absolute mortal danger, and that you really have no idea what it is you're getting into, and yet you have to walk forward and have this kind of blind faith. And that's something that I just find remarkable about any soldier in any situation, or anybody who's working under any kind of leader, and they just have to follow those orders. It's like, well, what if I don't agree with these orders, and I don't even know what they are? Like it really is something that I hope audiences are going to get excited about, because it is just the actual questions you have to start to ask yourself as you move towards something like that. Like, am I capable of this?
And the other cool thing is that the spycraft aspect is now eventually in this season going to merge with the military aspect,
Right.
which we haven't seen before, or we have seen but not so much of. Now it's going to be quite heavily featured. We have we have tanks. It's a whole other, moving into Dieppe. It's not a spoiler. We're talking about it, but I think we're going to see, and I think those spies are going to see a whole side of the war that they hadn't seen before.
Right. And that's a big deal, because in terms of history, the touchstones there, obviously some of the most horrifying stuff that came out of that war was certainly in that area, I guess. In terms of production, what was it like this time? Having one season under your belts, coming into it now, what did it feel like?
It was good, having that entire season under our belts meant that we had to have all our costumes let out a little bit. Bigger belts. But we have a really good costumes department there, so that was no problem. It honestly was. The first season for us was such a great experience because we bonded so tightly, so immediately, and it was something where we were, in constant communication after we wrapped, and all during, sort of waiting for season 2 if it's going to happen and that kind of stuff. So the experience, I think, was one that we were all relieved to get to jump back into again, and just sort of see each other and hang out. And we talk about this a lot, but the bond between the five of us actors, we hope, is reflected on camera as well, because it is a genuine love and trust for each other that we have, and it was demonstrated every single day by, again, we're working together and, hanging out in between takes and that kind of stuff, but then also, I say this a lot, but going to the gym together, eating together, going over lines together, all the time, constantly. You're just hanging out. At any given time, at least 2 or 3 of us are hanging out. So that is a rare experience, I think, on any show, that you have a group of 5 actors that are cast together that genuinely like each other, no one's a dick.
Yeah.
Well, except for Connor.
Except for you.
Wait, what?
No, nothing.
I thought you.
It's between the camera and me.
The fact that you guys are traveling to do this too is such it must be a cool factor, because obviously you guys are, when you're doing any job, acting, you're obviously in different parts of the world, but this one seems quite different from most shows.
Well, what's inspiring about it is that we're far from home. We're in an amazing city. Personally, I'm in love with Budapest. I'm really glad that in my life I get to spend a lot of time there. Hopefully looking forward to even more time there. But also we have this amazing international cast and crew, and that's also quite the learning experience. And I don't want to compare what we did to actual war, because this is fiction and theirs was reality. but there was a sort of putting a lot of nations in common for a common goal, and I think we have that same aspect where we're learning from each other and we're coming from different backgrounds, coming together to make this show, and getting to work with German actors, British actors, people from all over Europe. It just, to me, was a great gift.
It is one of those things where there's just so many different kinds of people from all over that are coming together, and again, we have this core group of us that are so excited to be there, and then everyone else that comes in, I think, just sort of joins in that excitement. Everyone's so stoked just to be in Budapest and to put on the clothes and just jump into the fiction as it is, and yeah, we're really lucky.
Well, the last thing I want to know is what's the big gotcha moment that maybe you guys can allude to this season that maybe people want to
So you want us to
spoil? No. I wonder, when you guys were filming, throughout the season, was there a particular episode that had a moment that you think people are going to be like, oh my god?
I have one for my character and one for your characters. I
Okay.
think mine is Aurora goes on her first undercover mission, extended one. She's going to pretend to be a German woman. And through that fictional character that she's going to create for her mission, she's going to build a friendship. And through that friendship, we're going to actually learn how she feels and who she actually is. 'Cause there she's going to be able to confide about life and love. And so to me, that's an interesting angle. Amidst all that chaos,
Right.
Through that false life, a lot of truth will be revealed. There's a parallel to acting.
Oh.
Hey.
I like what you did
What's the one
there.
for me? Tell
For
me
you
mine.
guys,
Yeah.
it's really
Oh,
vain.
you guys.
No, it's there's a mission. Can I say it?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Even just hinting towards
There's
it
just
would be
gonna
cool.
be one moment where the guys are gonna be so good looking.
That's
Women at
gotcha,
home
there we go.
are gonna nosebleed.
You're gonna nosebleed? Is that what you said? Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Look forward to it. It's like right around the middle of the season.
Okay.
I'm not spoiling anything, but I just know the reaction will be.
I feel like, to be honest, there's like every single episode, there is one of those gotcha moments. I think that's what's great about this season is that they. Well, it's true though. Like I'm not even just selling the thing. It really is one of those things where like there truly has been worked into everybody's storyline and everybody's arc throughout the entire 10 episodes. Every episode we all get something where it's just, again, like we're struggling this season. It's a different kind of situation compared to the first season when the team first landed. And I just think episode after episode, not only do these gotcha moments keep on happening, but they keep on intensifying, and the repercussions from those episodes then sort of trickle out into so many unexpected ways that come back to haunt us and help us in certain ways as well. So.
And there's gonna be romance.
Oh yeah,
Romance.
Of course there's going to be romance. Quite a bit,
Quite a bit,
actually.
Everybody gets a bit of romance.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it wasn't that much in the first season. There's a fair bit more of the season, yeah?
chaste first season, but season 2,
Yeah.
all bets are off,
Nice.
as well as pants.
Thank you
So
guys.
tune in.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.